Namaskar. Coming live from Gunnershot, Claws, and PGurus, we have three good generals with us: General Ravi Shankar, General Rajiv Narayanan, and General Dushyant Singh. Welcome to everyone, generals. How are you?
Thank
Good
you,
evening
and
and
we're fine.
welcome.
Good
So
evening.
nice to be back.
Thank you. Good to be back on your platform.
Thank you so much, sir. And my apologies for chasing you because you are traveling and you are not able to reach back. And we thought you were going to be coming online last week. One second. I have a feedback here so I can hear what's going on. So all good. So sorry about that, General Rajiv Narayanan and General Dushyant. Apologies for giving the link a little bit late today. We had a few logistical things in the background. Viewers, I'm going to be managing it. I may make a few mistakes, so please forgive me. But the content, I can tell you, is of the top drawer shelf. General Ravi Shankar is going to set the stage. He has a presentation. He's going to share you the pictures of the three sites attacked. So you have an idea of what's going on. And then after that, we are going to have a few questions. The generals will share their viewpoints on this. Over to you, General Ravi Shankar. Set the stage, sir. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks a lot. If we could have the, as you know, we discussed in the morning on Gunnershot also. This is the, photograph or the satellite photograph of
General, if you want to make sure that it's number one, slide number one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's okay. No. This is we'll come to this. This is Fordo. If you see, these are the entrance sites. Now, as per the thing, these entrance sites have been blocked. Dirt has fallen and they're blocked. These two are the places where there are marks. If you see here, there's a mark and subsidence. Subsidence means there's the entry where the bombs have gone in, the GBUs, and earth has also caved in behind it. Even here, there's the three marks, right? And if you see, this is the crest line of that Fordo site, and this goes, and the Fordo site actually would be below this. So this would have gone in. Okay, now there's a complementary picture to this. If you see, this is a little more clearer in terms of the blow up. This is the Maxar satellite photograph. You see these three pock marks and these three pock marks are very clear again, corresponding to what I showed you in the last one, and the entrance. Okay, this is Fordo. This is Natanz, where you see there's a place which has been hit here, which is probably the underground area of Natanz. And if you see the pictures of earlier and now, you'll see a lot of damage has spread into Natanz. Isfahan is a washout, completely washed out. When I say washout, not the bombs, the area has been completely gone. From what I saw earlier to these photos of Isfahan, they are in a very bad shape. Okay, can we go back? I think we've explained this. Now, if I go further into details and a little analysis, opening analysis, it'll be very fair to say that all three strikes have been fairly successful. And this is what US claims. They have not got the actual battle damage assessment, but they'll give it out. But my sense is that whatever has hit them, you see, the GBUs have been dropped on Fordo. Maybe one odd GBU has been hit on Natanz. That's not very clear because they've dropped 13 GBUs. In Fordo, you can account for 8. Where are the other 5 gone? It'll come out. Right? The Natanz facility and Isfahan have been hit by tomahawks because they're largely overgrown. Only Natanz, half of it is underground. So it's fair to say that the enrichment part of Iran's nuclear program has been set back, conservatively 5, optimistically 20. That's the assessment which is coming. But anywhere in between, it's going to go. Okay. But the question here is, has Iran already got a bomb? That's the point which we have to see, because I don't think that enriched fuel will get dissipated or anything. That's there. It's about 400 kgs. 400 kgs is just 2 barrels. Is it here or is it being taken away? The Iranians are claiming that they've taken it away. And there is some news in the air that there's some cold testing which has already been done in Korea through the People's Republic of China. It has its repercussions on China and North Korea. More on China than North Korea if this is true. and probably even on Russia. So, but that's a story which we'll talk later. They've done cold testing and they've got that enriched fuel and some amount at least. Then has Iran assembled 2-3 bombs, right? That sounds scary, but the fact is, if you have to have a delivery system, you need to have a warhead, you need to have a missile, you need to have launchers, which they're pretty fairly degraded. And then if you want to use a bomb against someone, you should have a follow-up capability. That follow-up capability is virtually gone off. So just with a bomb, what can Iran do, right? Is a $1 million question. Even if you throw a bomb at New York or someplace, you will get 20 back. And that's the end of Iran and not only the mullahs, a whole lot of them. So I don't know whether it is, how far this whole nuclear blackmail will go on. Okay. So that is the thing. But what is, if Iran has said we will retaliate, we will do a retaliation, and they have said we'll close. There's some news which says that the parliament has said that close the Strait of Hormuz. Now, closing the Strait of Hormuz is not simple. They can do an oil slake, they can sink a oil tanker and all that. All we discussed. In fact, General Narayanan and I were discussing this in the morning. But that means that Iran's oil facilities and oil also will not go out. If Iran's oil doesn't go out, then it's tremendous economic loss for them. And not only that, it might invite another reprisal where oil facilities also will be hit and the 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗪 terminal will be hit. And that's the end of Iran economically. And then people will take out that Strait of Hormuz that can be secured even physically, right? Let me be very clear. About 20-30 kilometers radius, you take out everyone there and put your own post, put your own AD, and even boots on ground. A couple of battalions will do the trick. It's not a big deal. Israelis and US, it's within their capability, so it's not a thing. Next thing is USA has also made it clear that we are only not against the Iranian people. We are not against Iranian military. We only hit the nuclear facilities. We don't want them to have an enrichment program. So any repercussion on USA, they've said they've promised a lot of pain to Iran. So that's where it is. Of course, Israel is in seventh heaven. They're very happy. Benjamin Netanyahu has come out loud and clear. And now, hereafter, if you look at it, USA will allow Israel to do the cleaning up and mopping up and hitting the rest of the thing. This will continue. They will continue to do what they want. Though US has said there will be no regime change, but regime change is on the cards. Will regime change happen with just these actions is $1 million question. Personally, I don't think that will happen. It all depends on the Iranian people. In the morning also, I said in my podcast, the Iranian people will decide what will happen. Now, will the Iranian people come up, rise against all this? Is there some leadership? Is there some organized opposition to this mullah regime? We also have to understand in the past 40-50 years, the mullah regime has got entrenched. It controls all the institutions, everything. It's not easy for a regime change. Okay, but whichever way you see it, it's going to be an unstable Iran. A word about China. China's hand is now coming out. It's possible that China has been helping Iran in its nuclear program. One. But besides that, China stands completely sidelined. China has had no role to play. It's not been given any help to Iran and all that, despite the 2021 deal, strategic deal which it had with China and Iran, that China will put $400 billion into Iran and they'll take discounted fuel from Iran. They'll give technology, all that will come unstuck now. Russia had signed a partnership just in April, some kind of a mutual, I wouldn't say defense partnership, but mutual sharing partnership, defense sharing partnership. That also has come unstuck. So far, the Russians have not moved. Yeah, they've come out with some 4-point program. This not Russians, the Chinese have come out with some 4-point program and all that. But these are all talk, and they've condemned and all. Yeah, anyone can condemn anyone these days, but what's there on ground? So, well, we are in a situation, and of course, our friend Pakistan is going to get hit all 3 sides. Pakistan has very clearly given airspace to America. They've also given out something that, they've condemned America for getting into Iran. They've sided with Iran. And then Chinese also are very unhappy. And this is now coming in black and white in, news channels, that the Chinese are very unhappy that they'll not give them any J-35s and all. If they don't give them J-35s, Americans are not going to give. So Pakistan will be where it is, like a tortoise, and get hit. Right now, we'll see. So I think this is the opening thing, and we'll discuss as we go along. Over to you, Sree Iyerji.
Thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar. And now I would like to invite General Dushyant Singh to give his opening thoughts, and then General Rajiv Narayanan, and then we'll go into some specifics. I have some questions. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Iyerji. And most of the issues have been covered by General Shankar. But I would like to just highlight certain issues which have still not been covered. Firstly, about the regime change. I agree with him that it is unlikely that there will be a regime change, because over a period of 45 years, the Iranian current dispensation has developed some kind of a followership. And as per one of the polls, it was around 60% plus. And the opposing side has a very limited effect or influence on the population. There was some demonstration which took place a few days earlier on the streets of Iran opposing the Khamenei, but there can be a possibility of an assisted regime change. And with that, what I mean is that some special forces, and if you recall, in Afghanistan also, when the regime change took place by the US guys, it was the special forces who did this. Special forces will go in, neutralize the key institutional facilities of Iran, which would be in terms of governance structure, radio station, TV station, all those, and thereafter they might have people who could then take control of this. I'm talking of the Iranian people taking control of it, with the, I think, son or the grandson who is living in US being propped up, being propped up as the so-called leader of Iran. This is one possibility we should not rule out. So there is a possibility of this kind of a thing, and let's see how things pan out. Because and thereafter the special forces will not stay there. That mistake, they will not do what they did in Afghanistan. They are likely to move out, which may lead to further chaos and confusion. But so be it. As far as the West is concerned, the country of Iran will become an unstable country, which will need to be then managed in a manner through this puppet regime. How they do it, in what manner they do it, that I think only time will tell. The second issue which I wish to highlight here is about the nuclear facilities being targeted and possibility of enriched uranium, say about 400 odd kg, which General Shankar is mentioning, being smuggled out of the country or being kept somewhere hidden. It is possible, because even the GBU bomb, which has been used by the Americans, technically speaking, it does not go up to the depth up to which these centrifuges were there. So there is a difference of about 20 odd meter between the capability of the GBU bombs of the US and the level of the centrifuge or level of the underground facilities of Iran. It is said that it matches almost the tunnel, the route between London and Paris, train route under the sea. So therefore, that feasibility is there. This is a BBC report. So I'm just echoing what the BBC is saying. So possibility of such a thing being hidden even in Iran is very much feasible. The third aspect, and this you all are willing to, you all are welcome to comment, and this is a conspiracy theory or whatever you may call it, and that is that, to me, it looks like a stage managed action. And the reason for this is that these are two. First of all, Iran by now had realized that it had no chance against the Israelis with the US stepping in. So there was some advance warning given to Iranians. Look, evacuate whosoever is there in all these three facilities. Evacuations took place much before the site was struck, which means that either their intelligence was so good that they were able to assess that the Americans are going to strike them, or they had been, tipped off. Partners, stay out of, get out of that place. Other, we are going to strike you, and if we strike you, none of you will survive. So therefore, because immediate tweet was no casualties from Munir, which is something to my mind looks quite fishy. You and General Shankar and General Narayanan can comment on it. The last issue which I wish to highlight here is that there has been a methodical approach to subduing Iran by Israel and US combined. You see, they took care of the Hamas, they took care of the Houthis, sorry, not Houthis, the Hezbollah, they took care of the Syrians by entering into the Golan Heights. And finally, the Houthis have been constantly engaged by the Americans. Although they said that they are withdrawing, etc., they've come back again. So it really doesn't make a difference. So, and then only they struck the Iranians. So proxies couldn't be launched. And since the proxies couldn't be launched, Iran was all alone in this battle. The Russians have their own compulsions. They can't enter into this war. The Chinese, forever, I keep saying that the Chinese really do not have the will and the gumption to be a superpower. They do not have that willpower to put their arsenals into practice, into any theater. Whereas the Americans, that way you must appreciate them, that they may lose constantly, whether it was Vietnam, whether it was Iraq, whether it was Afghanistan, whether it was Syria, whether it was Somalia. I can keep on going. But they at least have that willpower to apply their forces when required. Even now they have done the same thing. So therefore, what I feel is the Chinese are likely to be ineffective as far as Iran's support is concerned. Underhand support, yes, possible. Assisting in the nuclear facility, possible. Giving some additional missiles, possible. So therefore, this is as far as the Chinese are concerned. Russians have their inability because of their commitment. And finally, the last point which I have is the US bases. I think the US bases are slightly vulnerable in case if this regime lasts for another few days or few months. Then there may be some worry for the Americans. So with that, I stop here and I'll hand over back to you for atom bomb comments of General Rajiv Narayanan.
Thank you so much. And viewers, I think I request you to stop sending in questions. We have already got too many. I'm not even sure we're going to be able to go through all of them. So small, sincere request. All of you, please like this video wherever you are watching, whether it is on Class channel or Gunnershot or on PGurus. Please like this video and also please subscribe to our channel. And now, General Rajiv Narayanan, your opening comments are, and I have one question that I'll be asking all three of you after this. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Few things. I look at the penetration bomb akin to the high explosive anti-tank ammunition. When you look at it from outside, the hole is minuscule, just about 1 to 2 inches. The damage inside the tank is complete.
Yes.
For those, if you can get to
can you move it, General Ravi Shankar?
Yeah.
Only you have the control. Yeah.
Now you look at it, there are 8 bombs that have struck. Centrifuge system is very sensitive. Each bomb carries 6 tons of explosive. 6 tons of explosive. 8, 6, the 48 tons. So the damage, the explosion inside and the damage is going to be enormous. Even if the penetration through the concrete below that is going to be less. But the shake-up inside as far as the centrifuges are concerned is going to be very enormous. It's a very sensitive equipment. It cannot withstand too much of pressures coming in with such an explosion taking place in such a limited period and constricted space. So that is what I would say. And as far as the leakage of information is concerned, Pakistan is past master at it.
Yes.
So they would have leaked it out to them to play all sides. Now they're playing 3 sides, so they will play the sides. Whoever to butter them up to save their own asses, because otherwise, you know what could happen through Sistan, Baluchistan, and all inside.
Yes.
So this 400 kgs of this uranium was there. Actually, uranium hexafluoride, which has been, as per the Bulletin of Atomic Sciences, latest report is that this has been enriched to 60%. I'll take it with a pinch of salt because IAEA report is there. In 2023, when they made a surprise visit to 𝗪𝗏, they found traces of uranium with 83.7% enrichment.
Yeah.
So this talk and chatter of 60%, I will take it with a bucket of salt.
Pinch of salt, sir.
The bucket of salt. If 3.7% is already traces being found, it tells a different story. And I would go by that Chinese had helped them in North Korea to do whatever they had to. If all 400 has been enriched to weapons grade, that will give him the capability of 10 to 12 warheads. Does he have them? Then what is being missed in all this is, I think the place is Senan, where they had a huge storage of missiles, which was hit by the Israelis, and 5.1 Richter scale seismic activity was noted out there, which means quite a lot of their missiles were hit. And of course, in response to this, the Iranians have not targeted US bases, they have targeted Israel. 40 missiles, amongst them was their Kermanshah missile.
Yes.
2,000 kilometers range, 1,000, and there are about 11 who have injured. Israelis are not giving out. I think some deaths would have taken place. It has hit a residential area, which was being shown by the Israeli TV, where they have got hit in Tel Aviv area. So this is where it stands. Next point that you have to consider, for almost close to 2 years, Mossad is already inside Iran. See the difference between what happened, what Ukraine did, and what Mossad has done. Ukrainians made their drones in Ukraine, and then in modified containers, they took it inside Russia. Mossad was running a drone factory inside Iran. And the locals were thinking that this is Iranian drone factory. And they've used those drones to hit it, which implies their footprint is enormous. So along with the SF for any regime change, Mossad would be utilized. But I would agree with both that it's not so simple. It takes time. If Americans are looking at the son of Shah Reza Pahlavi, well, they're up a gum tree, they're going to repeat Afghanistan. The Pahlavi family
or Iraq.
Or Pahlavi family is hated by the Iranians. The kind of havoc they did to their lives, they don't like them. I don't know how much of the youth know about it, but since the hardliners have been in place and in every segment of governance, education, everything, they are there. I'm sure they would have taught this in their history of the things that the Pahlavi family did in Iran, covering up their own actions, of course. The other aspect is what is not being covered by a lot of media, the pushback against the hardliners after that, what was that girl by the name M, who didn't wear her hijab and she died, 2022.
Mahsa Amini.
Mahsa Amini. The pushback has been from the mothers and grandmothers. The men are missing. They're refusing to wear hijabs. When the moral police comes, then they get gheraud by these women. Yes, they killed that doctor who was treating the wounded people also, the lady doctor. But this is a pushback which is coming in. But for any such regime change to take place, you need some figure who can coalesce the society along with him. That is missing. That is missing today. So that regime change may take place, but it will take a little time. And yes, the nuclear capability may have been pushed back 10, 15 years, 5 years. And well, like I had said offline, US has done an Op Sindoor on Iran.
Op Sindoor on Iran version.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, General Rajiv. I have one question that I would like each one of you to answer, gentlemen. Let's start with General Ravi Shankar. General Ravi Shankar, people are murmuring that, look, we are not seeing any nuclear fallout from the incidents at these three places. What's going on? Was there even any nuclear material there? Now, the answer to that is that people are saying that, look, Israel has figured out a way to defang nuclear sites without any nuclear fallout, like radiation and so on and so forth. Is that something that's even possible? And I'd like each of you to answer to this one. Over to you, General Ravi Shankar.
This is, I suggest you ask different questions, because this is a very technical issue. Okay, people can't go. Okay, look, what has been hit? You have to understand that enrichment centers. What is enrichment center? It's a centrifuge set of. Each enrichment center has got about 2,000 centrifuges, right? They're just spinning, and they're throwing uranium out in one centrifuge. If the uranium is enriched to 30%, the second takes it to 31%, the third takes it to 32%. It's like that. Just in Natanz, there's something like 2,300 centrifuges. So there's no radiological leak which can happen there, right? They're not online. Then fission is not taking place. Same thing with 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗏. There's no fission taking place there. Some amount is being done, which is the fuel where they process it, is at Isfahan. That's why they have kept it overground. They've not taken it underground. But I think they have taken care not to hit those sensitive areas. Right, so there's no question of radiological damage. You see, let me tell you, there's a fourth place in Iran which they could have hit. That's 𝗤𝗏. 𝗤𝗏 has got a reactor. It's a live reactor. It's on today. Now that's one thing they could have put. If they had put that reactor, hitting that reactor means a reactor. One of the offshoots of a reactor is plutonium. In a uranium reactor, you get plutonium out. And that plutonium is weapon-grade plutonium. And if you keep collecting it over years and then you use it as a trigger or whatever it is with the enriched uranium, then you get a decent bomb. Yeah, plutonium route is what we also do. It's not something, this thing. We also do it. So, if you hit that, you give more damage. But that's the place where maximum radiation takes place. You hit that, it'll be another Chernobyl. You hit that, it's like Fukushima.
Absolutely.
So the thing about radiological leak and all, I don't think is valid. Otherwise, uranium, which is subcritical, not critical mass, subcritical. Okay, subcritical is like metal, any other metal. You use depleted uranium in tank ammunition. Okay, it's just hard metal. That's about it. Unless it is fissionable, you got to take it to a critical mass. And as it is, if you are enriched, for theory thing, I go with what General Rajiv said. I also read this, that 83% traces the IEA team had found. Where? In Natanz only. Right. And 60%, 30%, 40% enrichment will not give you radiological leak. There's no way. Unless you put it in part of a rod and you start a reactor and all, that's not this thing. So I think that's all thing. So I think you should ask different questions to these people now.
Okay.
May I add?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Let him add. What I wanted to say was that it's a long drawn process of destroying his centrifuges. It started off with Stuxnet. I have given a detailed analysis of what they did in Stuxnet. In Stuxnet, they actually targeted the low end of their centrifuges. The older grade centrifuges. The newer generation centrifuges were still ticking. They were still working. over a period of time during this particular operation, they have tried to target those. So that is just an additional information to what Jan Shankar has said. So it's been a long drawn process of actually degrading their nuclear weapon creation capability through multiple approaches. One is the centrifuges, second is the scientists, and third are the support people in the process of building of this nuclear weapons. All three have been actually targeted, and if you take the kind of presence of Mossad, which has been there in Iran right from the time of the Stuxnet time, I would go slightly modified on General Rajiv's statement that if Mossad has found so much of root inside Iran that a factory is running without the Iranians getting to know about it, I think that assisted regime change would be very much on the cards and sooner than what we are anticipating. All this is linked to that. Why should they destroy a reactor? I mean, we have seen the case of reactors being actually destroyed, and so much of precaution has been taken on Zaporizhia. Otherwise, Zaporizhia would have been knocked off by the Russians long time back. So I think we need to look at this radiation bit from that perspective. Plus, all the refuges were underground. I mean, most of it were underground, except for the Natanz ones, which was overground. So I don't think there has been any kind of a radiational problem in the way they have struck these sites this time round.
Thank you so much, General Dushyant Singh. If you would like to add this, Rajiv, and then I'll have the next question.
I'll add the technical part.
Yes,
what
sir.
you get is U-238 normally. U-238 is no good for weaponization. You need U-235. To convert that, there is a chemical process through which you convert this to uranium hexafluoride, UF6. UF6 by itself is not that fissile. When it comes out into the air, mostly like gas, it breaks down and the spread is just limited to the area where it has fallen, not much. And it is this UF6, the uranium hexafluoride, which is used in the centrifuges to convert it to U-235. So when you are hitting this, a lot of armchair strategists take off, oh, nuclear fallout, there'll be nuclear fallout, there'll be this, that. Thank you. Nothing is going to happen. There'll be nothing there. As it is, Further is so deep under the ground, whatever hexafluoride would have come out, if it has come out, would be there itself, and that's it. It's gone. Over.
Yeah.
Nothing would have come out. It will collapse.
And you'll hear of something called gas enrichment facility.
Yes.
That is that
uranium hexafluoride. UF6 is what is utilized everywhere for this gas enrichment.
You convert it.
Obviously, you have not hit any reactor. Apart from the caution that there should not be a fallout, the breeze, if you study the breeze pattern in the Persian Gulf, it comes from Iran and goes towards Saudi Arabia and UAE. And that is where the American bases are. So will you hit it there for yourself to get contaminated? In any case, you are looking at a regime change. So why will you impact the local people? They have not even hit the uranium mines. Every location where they have, except for some which they say that it's a secret location and other things, most of the locations are mapped where the Iranians have the things, and the mines are in the open. Nobody has touched the mines also. Nothing. So it's precise, targeted thing to push them back in the nuclear thing at least about 5 to 10, 15, 20 years, which gives them the time for the regime change and work with the new.
They'll not touch the uranium mines because that is raw material. Trump wants those critical minerals. Let's be very clear.
I believe there is another rumor going on that there are some rare earths available in Iran as well. Probably.
Wherever you have uranium, you'll have rare earths.
Yes, so possibly he's looking for that.
Yeah.
So, last question.
Yeah.
General's last question. Only one question to all three of you in turn. And then after that, we have tons of questions. I would like to have our questions answered. So last question to all three of you. What, according to you, should be the right way to change a regime? Over to you, General Ravi Shankar.
There's no right way to change a regime. The only right way to change a regime is democracy, elections, and all that. Everything else is the wrong way. Right?
Yeah, so,
let's be very clear.
General Ravi Shankar, you have the initial conditions now. So from this point forward, how do you get to that point where you have a democracy in Iran?
See, the point is this. I mean, democracy in Iran won't come in these conditions. It will not come. You can't have democracy. Let's be very clear. Now, you won't have regime change. You have to create chaos. You have to create a system by artificially propping up people, demonstrations, this, that, and all that. And, you have to get people on the street. Ultimately, you have to get people on the street. Okay? And then you have to impose a guy. Right? For that, you have to get after the leaders of this current regime. See, what happened in Afghanistan? That's a model you have. What happened in Afghanistan? They used daisy cutters, this, that, and all that, and they bombed the Taliban. What did the Taliban do? They ran away. They ran away wherever they ran away. And then there was no regime. There were no people. Everyone was this thing. So they brought in 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Hamid Karzai, those days was living in London. From London, they took him to Peshawar. From Peshawar, they inserted him and they made him the president and he ruled for whatever. So similarly, something like that has to come. You have to first drive away these clerics. Right? You have to drive away these clerics to wherever they can be pushed out. And then, demonstrations and this and that. And it's not going to be easy enough, Iran. That's what I said in the beginning. Because these clerics are entrenched. The mosque system is entrenched. They are now they're like a fission reaction. If one guy goes, someone else will come in.
Yes.
And that is why this fellow has nominated 3 guys. If I go and the next guy goes and the next guy goes, at least one will this thing. So like a fission reaction, one chap will keep coming up. They control all the mulladam. And those of us who have operated in Kashmir and all these places will realize the importance of this mulladam which can control the masses. And this is a proper theocracy. In the past, 40 years, 50 years, this has become from 79. That's the time when Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini came back. This is a proper theocracy, deeply entrenched. It's not going to happen easily. First, the way I look at it, there's going to be chaos. This regime will be interfered with at every stage. Now that Mossad is already there will be some part of Mossad which will be trying for that. And that will be magnified by other elements. Diplomacy is also a huge regime changer. Right? So there are a lot of forces which are going to be working in Iran. And you'll see certainly a lot of outlying areas, the rimlands of Iran will go into, instability. Whether the Kurdish area, the area bordering Azerbaijan, the area bordering Balochistan, because these are the entry points where, you can start the problem fermenting to happen along the sea, right? So this is how it will happen, and this is going to be a torturous affair over the next 3-4 years. Let's be very clear. And then you'll see something happening. We are going to have a lot of instability. As far as we are concerned, expect instability in Iran, expect instability in Balochistan, and expect instability in Pakistan.
Thank you so much. General Dushyant, one question, sir. Same question, but one data point. 99.2% of Iran is literate. Its average age is 34 years. So you have a very young population that might not remember what happened, what led up to 1979. Given that, and if you have to create chaos, in my opinion, even that has to be controlled chaos. Your thoughts on how this will play out, sir?
Okay, so I had already covered it in my opening remark that it has to be an assisted regime change. Now,
yes.
Who all can give the assisted regime change? Mossad, which is already deeply entrenched there. There are Azerbaijani operators also covertly operating in Iran. There are possibly I would like to now put Field Marshal or Field Marshal Munir into a spot, that there are some elements from there also which are operating. So given all these factors, and Afghanistan, you just cannot rule out which side the Talibanis will turn. We don't know. So like Jan Shankar said, the peripheries will start boiling initially, and exactly that happened in Afghanistan also. The second target would be, while this chaos is happening around the periphery, IRGC will be targeted very specifically by the covert elements to destroy all their leadership one by one, as they have been doing in Hamas, in Hamas case. Secondly, their fighting capability. See, no nation can be defeated unless its hard power is brought to the knees. So that is the second target which will be done over a period of time, in a covert as well as an overt manner, due to whichever reason you want to think of. I was once long time back in the US, and there were some advisors of George Bush, President George Bush that time, and they said that George Bush said that I want to attack Iraq because Saddam is having chemical and nuclear weapons. And the advisors of Bush said that there are no chemical weapons there are no nuclear weapons in Iraq. Do not give this as a reason to attack. But then they attacked. So some of the advisors had to be shown the door, etc. That's a different issue. And what I'm trying to say is that there will be some reason cooked up to ensure overt action as well as covert action. You don't have to cook up any reason. It can always be attributed to the public inside. And the final part would be that public has already started immigrating to Azerbaijan, to other areas bordering the Iranian nation. So therefore, this movement has already started. So public will be, incited the last. Once that happens, then there'll be statements coming out from your country now, which is the son of Shah of Iran, trying to give out some statements from there, trying to incite the public. This is the roadmap of the regime change. And once the entire mulladom and the mullah military are uprooted from their power bases, Shah of Iran's son will be, son of Shah of Iran will be, paradropped there, with him giving some kind of a, an address to the nation. I'm just giving out the picture. It could be actually made out into a picture story. And thereafter, what happens, that I don't know. I can't predict, but it will still remain an unstable region because, like I said, this regime has deeply entrenched and created a lot of radicals within the society. And even if one radical is alive, he works towards building back again his power. So this is the overall roadmap which I feel, and I'll stop here.
General Rajiv.
Yeah, I go back to Albert Einstein Institute of Boston, which teaches 198 ways to overthrow an elected government. They give 4 steps. They give 4 steps. Step 1 starts with demoralization. So here, whom do you demoralize? The IRGC, the Quds of course goes outside, the 𝗏𝗲𝗃, which stays inside. So when you have targeted killing of their elite, the demoralization sets in. So this is the phase of demoralization. Then begins the destabilization stage. Like the peripheries, the problem starts from the peripheries and starts coming inside. So the destabilization starts taking place, comment starts coming in. And then comes the crisis. Because obviously the mullahs are entrenched, they will not like to go out. And you have created an environment where a crisis has taken place, where it is a face-off between the people and the mullahs. And in this chaos comes a man. Now, whether it is the Shah Reza Pahlavi's son, or who comes up, he is placed there. And he is placed there as long as he listens to the people in the US and the West. Otherwise, this cycle will follow. So these are the steps they have given, and within each phase, they have given out all the steps. So the 198 step and a little above that, about 15, 20 of them, deal with the crisis, how to create the crisis. The crisis is also orchestrated. That's how I agree with Gen Dushyant when he says that it has to be an assisted regime change. Everything is orchestrated. So you have these people inside, you have your boots already inside, who have already started reaching out to the people. The people are angry with the mullahs. They don't know how to take out the mullahs. This is what is going to happen, of how to take them out. And you might see a lot of portions of color revolution type and other things also, Maidan, like the Ukraine Maidan and all that, coming into place, everything coming into place. It will take at least 10 years, for minimum 10 years, before you can see a regime change. It's not going to be easy in Iran. And my last comment on Iran, this is one of the only countries which has, despite converting to Islam, has retained its language.
𝗪𝗓𝗏.
Parsi. They have not forgotten Parsi. And despite being an Islamic country, they still celebrate Nowruz. That tells a lot about a civilization. I'll end it.
You have a point, General Rajiv Narayanan. I am told, again, this is all subject to verification, that 60% of the mosques are completely unoccupied, meaning nobody seems to be going to the mosques in Iran. And so it has to, but what Iran did right at the beginning of the hostilities, they've cut off internet for the whole of Iran. So I don't know where they're getting that information from. I don't know if Elon Musk is in place, Starlink. So we'll have to wait and see. So these are all, again, like you said, that institute, Einstein Institute of Boston. So we have to see how this plays out. Temporary respite for Israel, maybe, because the cat's paws of Iran are going to be probably the first ones affected by way of not getting any help. And we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much, generals. You answered a lot of questions in my mind. Because nuclear physics, in my mind, to me, is unclear physics. So you have clarified a lot of those things. Thank you so much. Let's take a few questions now. 80 World News, thank you for your super sticker. Truth Seeker wants to know, I think he's mentioning number of nukes. So
Yes.
what should be India's strategic direction? General Ravi Shankar, and then quickly to all three.
See, beyond a certain number, the number of nukes have no value.
Yeah.
What, America has 5,000 and USA has 5,000 and all has got no value. China doesn't have 5,000. China has got about 400, 500 at this point of time. By the end of this
600.
decade, they want to reach up to 1,000. So it's not so much. And Pak doesn't have 300.
300.
Pak has got just 170 at this point of time. India has got about 180, 200, 185 at this point of time. So first and foremost, this is it. So the thing is that these, whether you have 1 or 10, they're of no value beyond the point. It's a political weapon, right? Or I would put it this way, that it should not be India's strategic direction, it should be India's political direction. How you handle it politically, it's a political weapon in India's case. And in fact, even Chinese use it as a political weapon. So I don't think we have to change anything in what we are doing. Maybe marginal or policy and things like that, and otherwise nothing.
General Dushyant.
I feel that, not I feel, but this is a established policy of nuclear nations that numbers are irrelevant. What is relevant is your survivability to strike back. And that is ensured by your triad capability. And this is what you have to look at. Which nation has this robust triad capability? India falls into that category. Pakistan does not fall into that category. Yes, it can be assisted by China, and then it can do something bad to us as far as that is concerned. So currently, our policy direction remains the same. It's not the numbers. It's your ability to strike back and strike back with impact which can unsettle as far as the physical part goes. But as you know, nuclear weapons are more for deterrence and less for use. So therefore, once you have these capabilities, the other nation would not dare to actually adopt a nuclear posture against you. It would be more as a deterrence weapon system. So I think we should leave it at that and let our political hierarchy manage the nuclear weapons. We are meant to execute it as and when required to perfection, whether initially or as a second strike. Our policy
Thank you
remains
so much.
that we will not resort to first strike.
General Rajiv Narayanan.
I won't say much because I handled it on that chair for 3 years. I'll just say that the complete strategic direction, political direction, what you need, quantum you need, how you're going to manage it is all in place. And there's going to be, yes, sometimes we also felt that should we have a conditional no first use, but our nuclear red book is very clear. And we are in good hands, don't worry. This is all I
Next question, starting with General Dushyant Singh. Vishnu Gopi wants to know if regime change happens in Iran, can India and Israel play a part to make sure it is pro-Iranian people and Iranian culture rather than a Western puppet or another fundamentalist regime?
Look, as of now, to my mind, the contours of the next regime are not very clear. Right? We have to first believe that there will be a regime change. That is the first issue. Once that happens, if we can play a part in this, as we have all said, that there will be more of chaos and confusion, and it will be the person who wielding the stick who would be able to establish his leader out there in Iran. Now, do we have that kind of a stick as of now? I don't think we have. So we will have to rely on our good diplomatic efforts to ensure that whatever comes about in Iran, at least is not unfavorable to India. I think if we can achieve that much, it will be good enough for us.
Thank you so much, sir. We have to keep running fast. General Rajiv, Truth Seeker wants to know, should India spend more effort to acquire Afghanistan since Chabahar is uncertain now? There is quadrilateral between Chinese, Pak, Bangladesh, Afghanistan emerging. What should Bharat do?
Why should we worry so much about China, which itself isn't such a problem internally? And Pak, we know it is unstable. Bangladesh is also going towards instability. Pakistan, China also, with all the power struggle in the CPC, and Iran is facing at least about 4 or 5 years of uncertainty, if I may say so. So why do you need to acquire Afghanistan? Yaar, apna sambhal lo jo apne paas hai. Everybody wants to keep acquiring more and more places for India to look after. Well, sort out yourself here. You've got so much. Why do you think Chabahar will stay uncertain? Whatever happens, ultimately, it is still the connectivity going into Afghanistan. Okay, if there is a period of instability, something happens, you're not able to use it, does it make a difference that you're not able to send the humanitarian aid to Afghanistan? You might use the aerial route. So we have to have our plan A, B, C in place, and I don't see anything to acquire. India has already woken up, don't worry. It has a robust diplomacy backed by a very robust military and a rising economy. We are doing well.
Thank you, sir. I'm just going to do some quick announcement before we go back to Q&A. Tara, thank you so much. Same day Putin says Russian and Ukrainians are same. It seems that some deal between US and Russia is imminent. Well, we'll see how it goes. Next one, Srinivas Rao Butukuri, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I think it's for one of the 2 channels. I don't know which one, so I'm sure you'll know, gentlemen. And Ashish Kumar Hegde, thank you so much. Will India increase its defense budget to 4% of GDP eventually and build strong military industrial complex as part of Atmanirbhar Bharat? This is to you, General Ravi Shankar.
Yeah, we should. Let's hope it does. 4% is probably.
Yeah, I would say it is happening because the latest report which is coming in that the DPP is going to be squeezed so that you can get your procurement through within 2 years.
So let us see. The 4% we should go for greater.
I would say that only when it breaks down to 2 years should you attempt to increase your defense budget.
See, there's another problem. It's not a matter of just increasing the defense budget. You should increase the internal capacity to spend what is there in the defense budget and plan and make your procurement process.
That's the major problem.
That's the major problem. And that is something which we need to do. It starts from, making your proposal to the time it gets inducted. Unless that loop is shortened, right, there's no point in putting money where you don't have proposals ready. Otherwise, you'll get small proposals through which are easy to put through, and that doesn't add to great capacity, right? So one shouldn't look at it superficially of 4% or 3%. I would look at capacity enhancement. How do you do it is more important.
Just to add to this question, because this is very important, there has been some changes done in the emerging technology area where we are foregoing this thing about 3-4 entities being told to do NCNC and come up with a development process. Once we are convinced that a particular organization, particular entity is capable of doing this particular development, we are giving the project straight to that particular organization. So this is one big change.
To the people who will be listening, who will not understand what is NCNC. NC means no cost, no commitment. That means the person who has made it comes and brings the equipment at his own cost, and he has got no confirmation that anybody is going to buy it.
So that has been now done away with for high-end technology projects. So we are moving towards this kind of improved procurement and development systems for our country.
Thank you, Truth Seeker, for your generous donation and your comment. I think General Ravi Shankar is very happy where he is. I'm very happy where he is.
You put it out like that, Mr. Rajnath Singh will be very unhappy with me. I'm not interested.
He'll come back from China.
He'll race back from wherever he is.
Yeah.
Thought Provocateur, thank you once again. 𝗤𝙗𝗍𝗍, thank you for becoming YouTube member. Truth Seeker, thank you once again. Patreon of 4 great Indians, 3 generals plus 3. Thank you so much. Just a few more and then back to question. Thought Provocateur again. What will be Munir's strategy post White House langar? General Dushyant.
I think Munir should be prepared for getting some hits from his ironclad brother, higher than the Himalayas, deeper than the seas. That is his priority one. If he's able to manage him in this kind of fiasco where the Chinese are likely to lose 40% of their oil dependency from Iran, I think he needs to better pull up his socks and guard.
So, General Rajiv Narayanan, you've been following what's happening very closely in China. Now, looks like Hu Jintao is back. He's the one who's actually doing all these, front machination, making sure power distribution is going right. Your thoughts on that, sir?
No, not Hu Jintao. It's Wen Jiabao, his premier.
Oh, Wen Jiabao. Okay. So isn't he like the Shia of, yeah.
He's the one, but it's not so easy. They are trying to bring in Wang Yang from retirement to become a general secretary. He wants to have all the powers like Xi Jinping. Chiang Kai-shek is not ready to give up his PLA control. Xi Jinping is not ready to give up his control. Let's be clear about that. Don't think that Xi Jinping and his supporters will roll over so easily. They have not been able to announce anything till date. The only thing they have been able to do is in the PLA Daily, in the China Daily, start putting articles about collective leadership. That's all that has been achieved till now. While the country is stagnating and the economy is going down, even if, let us say, Wen Jiabao is calling the shots, what has he done about the economy of the country?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Huge mountain to climb.
Yes.
Sir, I have to tell this thing, and I've been saying it in many shows. China has active capital controls now. They are really, not allowing any dollars to go out. $1 because that's a standard currency. They are not allowing it to go out. Very, very difficult. So, sir, the question is back to you, General Rajiv. Any generals, it is reported by media that Pak helped USA B-2 bombers passing through its airspace. What is in store for Pak in the days to come? Thanks.
Helping U-2 bombers, that's a scream. Do the U-2 bombers need any help from Pak? They wouldn't even have been able to see that it has gone through. Yes, he permitted the airspace to be used. That's about all. So that's no help. Even if he had said no, would he have been able to do anything if the U-2 bombers had, B-2 bombers had passed through? They fly at very high altitude. He can do nothing about it. He was just told to be quiet, and that's what it is. Though I'm told that some US activity of assets is taking place in 𝗪𝗛𝗎.
Yes.
In the naval 𝗪𝗛𝗎 air base.
Some boots are coming on ground.
Yes.
And General Ravi Shankar, this is for you, sir. IRGC has said that full capacity of Islamic Republic has not been activated yet after launching a new missile that was very precise and destructive. Are they bluffing or are they truly capable?
See, some bluffing will go on, some capacity will be there. You have to see from basics. Now we are in the 10th day of the war. Yesterday was 9th, today is the 10th day of war. And in all these 10 days, Iran has been firing missiles and rockets. First they fired short range, they stopped. Now they're firing long range. That will also, and now today they only fired 40. Earlier, 1 week back, they were firing 100. So the numbers are going down. The numbers going down indicate that, and they firing the longer range versions. Any country, the longer range versions are the least numbers.
Yes.
So what is the sustainability of this is the question mark. Right? And they will never let go all of them. They will need something. Otherwise, regime change वैसे हो जाएगा. So you have to understand it's a diminishing capability for Iran. And they don't have capability to replace them the way chaos is happening. So I will put it this way. You have to look at it. They are supposed to have 2,000. Some say 4,000. Even if it is 4,000, 50% of them would have been gone by now. What will be left is another 50%. In any planning, he'll keep 20%, 25% with him for large days effort. So another 25% capability is left. 25% capability is 5 days, 1 week, 10 days. That's it. After that, you can, whistle. That's the Iranian capability.
General Dushyant, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, while there are 3,000 missiles, some have already been destroyed. General Rajiv Narayanan gave that, the incident where 5.1 Richter scale earthquake took place. So they were already say around 2,500 or so. Out of this, bulk of them are ranges which are not able to reach Israel at all. So they have very few missiles which can reach Israel and strike them. So what has been assessed is that around 1st of July or 2nd of July, that's the 5th, I think 5th of July is their ultimate current stock which can last them as far as missile strikes are concerned. And other than missiles and drones, they have nothing. So Iran, as of now, is in a desperate situation. It needs something. Although I heard that there were reports of a ship from China docking docking in Iran, we don't know what it carried. If it has carried something, defense missiles, etc., I don't know. That would probably increase it by another few days. That's all.
Would you like to add to that, General Rajiv?
Yes, by ship, you will not be able to get the long range missiles.
Yeah.
The very fact that he has started using his ballistic missile to hit Iran with conventional warhead is indicative that it's going to be a problem. And the only missiles that he has now is which he is capable of targeting the Persian Gulf, the American base. Will he dare to do it? I don't think so. I don't.
Yeah, that is the issue. The short ranges can only hit the.
Even that I don't think he has much money left.
Fifth fleet of US, which is in Bahrain.
US already has 3 aircraft carrier battle groups out there.
I know. It's totally defanged. It doesn't have the capability to fight a war.
Viewers, I'm just going to beg forgiveness from all of you. All questions directed at PGurus site I have taken out because they still have a few questions to go. But all the questions that were put to Ganeshot or Klaus, I'm going to still go through with them. I know you'll bear with me because we just are running out of time. Next question is for General Rajiv. Akash Krishan Tadani wants to know, the US dropped GBU-57 bombs on the nuclear assets of Iran, 𝗪𝗡𝗙 cocktail, in a convoluted way. Isn't this an attempted repeat of Hiroshima, Nagasaki? Your views? I don't think so.
It's not nuclear assets. It is actually not a nuclear asset or a Hiroshima, Nagasaki. So don't get worried, Mr. Tadani, that there's going to be a nuclear fallout. It was targeting their enrichment facility. So in the centrifuge test tubes, they're spinning around and you're trying to get out from the uranium hexafluoride. And uranium hexafluoride doesn't give you much radiation. Very highly unstable when it comes in contact with the atmosphere. The main thing is, this is the first time ever that the GBU-57 MOP has been used in conflict. First ever conflict used. Rest till now, this was the bunker busters had been tested, and they had claimed about 200 feet of concrete it can penetrate and go inside. This is the first time they have utilized it in combat. They claim it has been successful. Let's see. Should be successful in a confined place. If 8 missiles have been hit out there, bombs have hit out there, each carrying 6 tons, 48 tons of explosive in a restricted space. Hila deta hai.
But there must have been reverberations, isn't it? Like either seismic or something.
No, they were, and they've been held, experienced quite a distance away.
Okay.
Even they felt the explosion as far away as Tehran.
Wow.
48 tons of explosive. It's not a joke. 48 tons.
General Ravi Shankar, this is for you, sir. Will Iran become Ukraine of Middle East and trap USA, or will it ultimately drain China?
Look, China is out of the equation virtually. That's what General Rajiv Narayanan told us. China has got no leg to stand on. In fact, join in Ganeshot tomorrow morning. We're going to talk of the geopolitical decline of China. If you see Chinese, everyone keeps asking what China will do, China will do, China will do. China will do nothing. It can't do anything. And if you see the track record of China over the past, ever since 2020, it's only losing ground everywhere. And there are other issues also. We'll talk of that tomorrow. No, I won't say that it will become Ukraine or Middle East. It will be Iraq. Iraq mein hai na model. Syria mein hai model. And if you go to the Pakistani channels, I was listening to GeoTV the other day. So they are worried that Iran will become another Iraq, where the Kurds will have they're worried about a state within a state concept. What is the state within a state concept? That Kurdistan area will become one state within a state. It will function part of Iran, but it will run on its own. The Azeri area will be in a different grid. The Baluch area will be in a different grid, which will throw Pakistan off, and they're very scared of this. So this is something that's the model in which Iraq has been running. That's the model in which today Syria is functioning. Right? So that is the bigger model. Ukraine is no model. Ukraine is in a mess of its own. Forget about it right now.
Okay, next question from Akash again. To save face, and this is for General Dushyant, to save face and maintain the continuity of regime, there is a high probability of retaliatory attacks by Iran on Israel for sure, and probably US bases they get ambitious. Your views? I think the number of missiles, that is the thing that's going to determine this, isn't it, sir?
Yeah, so this has already been answered by me, that the stocks are dwindling very fast, and unless they are given these stocks from, most ideally is the Russian route, this is not going to go any far. And as far as attacking US is concerned, then the consequences will be very heavy to pay for Iran, and I don't think it will think of doing that. It will only going to convey threats, and that's about all.
Sir, I have read somewhere that 1 in 5 residents in Israel today is actually Russian, have Russian roots, Jews from Russia.
Yeah.
Would Russia stick it to themselves?
That's That is
Russia
something. Yeah, I mean, see, my view is that when it comes to geopolitics, I think it will not be considered as Russian. It will be considered as Israelis. That's the only thing which I can tell you. Because the Russians also have a lot of grudge against the Americans. Although you showed that thing that Ukraine and Russia are one, that is true. There was a delegation which came to me from Russia, and when I asked them some piercing question, they said that look, Russia and Ukraine are same stock. We know each other like brothers. So when we strike Ukraine with a lot of discretion. We don't strike a number of targets which we could have easily struck. And reason being that they are fellow nationals before this Russia, before USSR exploded. So therefore, my sense is that these are just to be told to the common public. When it comes to actual implementation, they have been hitting the Ukrainians also, who are supposed to be Russians.
Thank you, sir. This is for General Rajiv. Given the delicate condition of the global economy and major players struggling along, can the US afford this conflagration? Gaza, Ukraine, Taiwan, and now Iran. Who pays the bill?
The American taxpayers and the countries who buy the weapons. The 𝗏IC is sustaining the economy.
And the printing of the dollar.
So the dollar is there. The 𝗏IC is laughing its way to the bank. That is sustaining them. And the taxpayer pays his money. The delicate condition, that's why he is not able to come all out against you. No? He needs you. That is the advantage of India today that you have. That in this condition, you are the only economy which is, should I say, thriving. So he needs you.
And this is last question for General Rajiv, and then we'll wrap it up. General Rajiv, is the Crown Council in on Trump and Munir bromance? Why is Crown Council allowing Trump spoil Indo-US relations? Won't they lose money?
You think Trump with his tariff war is winning? The MNCs are running out. The Wall Street is moving in all directions. They are giving you the FDI. So that is where the Crown Council's money is. Trump's bromance with him is for his family to make money. You think Trump's bromance is there for US? Not at all. Not at all. See, when you talk of cryptocurrency, it is his company, which they made 2 months before the elections. His company, which has linked up with Pakistan and which has linked up with the Chinese Tron and wants to connect the Bitcoin there. It is his company. His son runs it. Donald Trump Jr. runs it. That is the bromance which is going on there. As far as the Crown Council is concerned, they are not happy. They are very clear that they need India. Why do you think Boeing is saying he'd like to come to India? So look at the MNCs. Don't look at Trump and tariff war. Look at the MNCs. Look at how EU is laying out the red carpet for you.
Absolutely.
They need us, so they will come to you. So,
VP
Malik will be very happy when this happens because they'll make all the money.
VP Malik, our former chief, in the tweet, there was a thread going on the Twitter or X now, in which he said the entire visit of Munir to US having lunch with President Trump was for personal resettlement. The word used was personal resettlement by both sides. And and generally Malik is not known to give such comments. He's generally a very balanced person. But he coming up with this kind of a comment, I think we need to take it seriously. And what Rajiv is saying, there is absolute truth in that.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And I think
one more last question which has come up.
Oh, just 1 second. Yeah, you're right. Just 1 second. This is for you, General Rajiv. I am Wham. Thank you so much. What are the implications of Iran now attempting to block the Straits of Hormuz? Will we do anything with US to keep the lanes open? We meaning India.
As Iran attempted it, it's just the parliament which has said it. Finally, the Supreme Council has to take a call. Will they take a call? General Shankar himself told you, will they spite the nose to bite their face?
Yeah, this was
And the
answered.
worst affected is looking towards China to give him something. China's oil will get blocked.
Absolutely.
So, let's not
Thank you
jump
so
the gun.
much.
That he's attempting to do.
Would either of the other two good generals like to add to this?
No,
No, nothing.
he's fine.
I think this is perfectly on spot. The Chinese are unlikely to allow them to do this.
Thank you so much. And I think your time was well spent, viewers, in my opinion. At least mine was. I love this. Every moment of this, a lot of questions answered. You don't need to go looking at various sites to understand the implications of what happened. We'll wait and see how this plays out. We'll be back again next Sunday, same time, same generals. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar.